Hey everyone, hey and welcome back to yet another episode of Battle Rap Resume. This is your host Tom Quee. Thanks so much for joining me. Before we get into today's guest, I just want to say please subscribe. If you're listening on YouTube, please subscribe to the channel on iTunes as well. Any podcast format you're listening on, please follow us at Battle Rap Resume. That's where the upload schedule is put. That's where, you know, various comments, various retweets of people who get in contact with the show, various news, you know, on Battle Rap Resume. I'll stop saying the word various now. You can also get in touch with me. Please like the page on Facebook. You can message me there. You can also email me, battlerapresume@gmail.com, if you want to help the show in any way. You can also pick up merchandise from our Redbubble shop. And as I say, the best currency you could give, if you've got like maybe 2 minutes to spare, please leave a review on iTunes. Those are very, very helpful. Rating as well. They help to push us up the algorithm, get more eyes on us. Shuffle, I'll start off with an important question. Frankie Fraser at Next in Line told me that you did this.
Right.
Unan mentions it in your battle. Do you really have a big book of multis?
Oh, my friend, I'm working on my second one now.
Wow.
But yeah, I've got, so you know, like I say big, you know, like a moleskin.
Yeah, of course.
Those sort of, like 10 or 11 centimeter long things. Mm-hmm. I've got one of those that I've just completely populated with multis. So, I'm trying to make it, so basically what I'm trying to do is make the first multi sort of rhyme dictionary, because rhyming dictionaries obviously exist, but they don't exist as multisyllabics. All they have is sort of like double rhymes, like, you know, like river, where it's not necessarily two stressed syllables together, it's just one stressed syllable and then something after it, or like, you know, nation, or, you know, information, even ones like that are just kind of, the rhymes are just very simplistic. And so I got in contact with a linguist called David Crystal, who's an amazing Welsh
Crystal.
guy. Yeah,
he's like the guy. He's like the linguist guy, isn't he? He did like
I love him.
That's mad.
See, he did something for the battle rap documentary that really? Tom Worth and those guys are doing. Yeah, so he had a little, just a couple of bits and pieces where he just talks about, you know, the similarities between rap and poetry and how it's a legitimate thing and, you know, it should be taken seriously. And so after that, I started getting more interested into him and started reading some more of his books, which are absolutely amazing. And I had this idea for doing a multi-syllable rhyming dictionary, and I contacted him. I got his details from Tom Worth and then just sent him an email very quickly and just sort of asked if it had been done, if it was worth doing, and he said, yeah, it's definitely worth looking into. And the only payment I could give him was just multis on his name, so I just said, like, here are a couple in case you're ever wondering. And I don't know if you know Jamie Blease from Brighton?
No, I'm not aware of him.
So he's the guy who started the whole accidental multi thing. Okay. And he's also just the best rhymer in the world, bar none. Like you know, literally he is the best rhymer of anyone in the entire world. I really would stand by that. And he helped me out with a couple, which was, I think, Israeli Missile for David Crystal. And we also had Nasal Whistle. And David Crystal was about 83 now, and he said nasal whistle was really appropriate. So it's good to hear.
That's absolutely incredible, because he has a son as well, David Crystal, Ben, that he writes with a lot.
Right.
But yeah, David Crystal, I remember I studied English at uni, and his books are kind of the default first year kind of, you know, just getting your head around, like, and he's done a lot of work on Shakespeare as well. Like, he's an esteemed academic. I can't believe you guys are going to work together. That's mad.
Well, I mean, I don't know if we're going to work together necessarily, but I mean, it was great just to even just have an email from the guy and just have the idea that he picked up on multi-syllables. And there's like a lot of things that I really like about David Crystal. Like, when he's going around just anywhere, he always takes pictures of signs and, you know, just like language in use just in day to day. And that's obviously with the accidental multi thing. There's a lot of, I like doing that as well. And, you know, Jamie got me into that again, Blease from Brighton. So I mean, I've just been working on populating this book for the last couple of years, and it's a very, very slow process.
Yeah,
and it can be quite a laborious process as well. But what I'm trying to do is get all the two stressed syllables. This is so nerdy, but like, so like I'm going through it alphabetically in like a phonetic index of like, so it starts with like payday, which is the most sort of like, it would start obviously the sounds of the vowels are the only important real things. So it's just like going A, E, I, O, U alphabetically. Mm-hmm. So it'd just be all the things that start with A, and then all the things that start with like ah, and then, you know, ow, or, you know, all that kind of thing. Mm-hmm. And then the second syllable would change. Mm-hmm. And yeah, it's a very long process, but there's about 250, 260 alternatives or combinations of 2-syllable sounds that you can get, and then fucking hell.
It's a very
you want to edit all of this out, by the way. You can just get rid of this if you want.
No, I'm really interested because there are so many, you know, the Oxford Dictionary of idioms or the rhyming dictionary, you said, and you could definitely imagine the Oxford Dictionary of multisyllabics being there.
Mate, I would absolutely adore it. And it's one of those things as well where the most important thing, I think, or the most interesting bit for me to write about would be having a huge sort of explanatory chapter on what a multisyllabic is, because, or, you know, a multisyllabic rhyme, or polysyllabic, as they should really be called, I think. I was talking to someone the other day about that. But multisyllabic is still a nice word. And I think the weird thing about it is when you get it, it's such a simple thing to do and get right, and, you know, then it's just a matter of quality. How good can you get them? But for some reason, it's so difficult to explain to people. And I know some really, really, really intelligent people who I've talked to about multis all the time, and no matter how many times I explain it, it's still, there's like a bit of a mental block that just doesn't allow them to get the full, or just, you know, every time they wouldn't be able to say a decent one, if that makes sense. So you could be talking about, like, you know, they could get it, and you could say chair is standing, and, you know, I should have thought of one before to have for that, but, like, you know, my parents landing or whatever, and then they'll be like, yeah, I get it, and then they'll say one, and then you'll be like, yeah, brilliant, and then you'll ask them again, and then it'll be just like, I'm going to Granding or whatever, and they miss out the first bit, and you're like, oh, I thought you had it. But it's an inconsistency, and it's really strange, but it's a bit of a mental block there for some reason that seems really difficult to get.
And do you remember, like, your first kind of experience of multis, hearing them, enjoying them?
So I think the first time I really understood multis was, to be honest, it was listening to Eminem, which sounds really like everyone else in the world would say that. But I mean, me and Theo basically were listening to Eminem for a long time before we properly got into writing our own rap. And we kind of, when we did start writing our own stuff, we knew it was missing something, and we knew that it was something that we could hear was in other things, but we couldn't identify it. And then after a while, we just kind of realized it's, the longer the rhymes, the nicer it sounds. And I think that would have been about 2011, maybe, before, when we actually got it. But then when it really clicked in and really started to be like, I guess I was in that kind of demographic I was saying before, where I didn't really get it, and I sort of, now and then I got it, now and then I didn't. But then I had a conversation with Soul once actually, which was a really weird thing, because I had just kind of got started in the battle rap world, and I was speaking to Ed by, like, you know, texting him and talking to him over the phone. And then one day we just had this long conversation over the phone, and where he explained to me why Bender was such a good writer, and the sort of the tiny little choices that he makes, and like every single different syllable just being the best version of that, and the best terms that you can use, and the best wording. And that was when I really understood it. So I really had Soul to thank for being obsessed with multis, because if it wasn't for him, I would still be kind of 10 steps behind, and not understanding the difference in quality and consistency and that kind of thing. So I really have Soul to thank for that.
Yeah, maybe when the dictionary comes out, he can do kind of the foreword or something.
Yeah, exactly. And it's funny because I've got so many contributors to it, because whenever I go to any event, I always have it. Yeah. And there are some, me and Bleez, who, you know, he's the main contributor. Basically, we're doing it together. Me and him decided that for something to be rhymed effectively, to have a good list, you need about 11 rhymes. Yeah. So you get a starter, and then 10 things off of that. That feels like it's done, and it feels like a good enough sort of variation of things to have, and as many nouns as you can get is always important and things like that. So I have a couple where I've maybe got like 7 or 8 and I still need a few filled in, so I put it out to everyone and then I just basically put their initials next to it, and then eventually when it gets made it'll be with a huge list of contributors at the front. But there is some that don't even, that can't be done. I'm sure there are some and these are just 2 syllables as well, bear in mind. So the 2 syllables are actually quite difficult. The two sort of like stressed syllables next to each other, I think they're more difficult than, like metronome or methodome or, stethoscope, those ones that have like a dead syllable in the middle. The ones that are like just, if you get rid of that dead syllable, so it's just Tesco, dress code, West Coast, those things are more difficult. And there are ones like, there's one that has started but never managed to get beyond it, and it's ear hair. And obviously the rhymes of each one, they have to be a thing, they have to be a self-contained idea. It can't just be like beer chair or 2 things that just work. It has to be like a real thing. And I've never found anything for ear hair, or the inverse, which would be hair ear, which isn't a thing, but I don't even have a starting one for that. So air ear, the closest we've got is air clear. Have a bit of an air clear, but I don't think that counts. So,
well, I mean, in the comments below, people, ear hair.
Yeah, man, if anyone has, I always put it out. If anyone's got it, I would be amazed. I'd be so happy because I'm obsessed with them.
Yeah, I mean, clearly, like in the best possible way. But I can't wait. I mean, if hopefully that does come out as a physical book. I'm sure it does. I'm sure it will. But if it doesn't, please just put it as an ebook in a few years. Like just your
Man, I would love for it to become a sort of a go-to for people. And I mean, like, I have a close relationship with a lot of people who do battle rap, obviously, and the amount of times someone will just say, have you got any rhymes on this? And then I'll just feel so happy when it's in the book, and I'll just take a picture of the book and send it. And sometimes they're not the most amazing ones, but it's just great to have a couple of things that you can look at and just be like, oh, that could link to that, or that could somehow relate. So yeah, no, hopefully one day. Yeah,
I can't wait. That's going to be so good. But we'll push on to the battles. I'm sure we're going to be talking about multis throughout, incidentally. But it's good to get out of the way now.
Now, I didn't want to speak about her, but your mother's sweet and sour is really fucking weak in power. Of all the places I've eaten out at, that's the one I'd least devour. She made some shit with wheat and flour, seasoned carrots, leek and pasta, and expected me to eat for hours. I said I'd rather eat chihuahuas. She said, fine, number 3 for starters.
Your first battle, I'm interested because against RS, this is uploaded October 2012. But in the introduction says that you came out of nowhere and basically there was some sort of like freestyle thing and you just jumped on the mic and impressed people. What was that?
Christ, that was the first thing I ever did with Don't Flop. Basically, so Theo and myself had been watching Don't Flop for a long time. We were like, we have to actually go to an event and be there live because we can't just watch it. We have to actually do it. So we went to the next event that was available, really, and we didn't realize it was freestyle until we got there. And this is so like a shit film, so be prepared. But this is genuinely what happened. So basically, I sat next to Kruger, really starstruck, and got drunk off of that, really, because I was so starstruck. I just started drinking to try and get some confidence. And then they had this whole tournament going for the night, or what's the word? Not a tournament. Can't remember. Right. But they had, kind of like a tournament, a little contest between 10 people, and one person hadn't showed up, so they had one space left. And Theo had been jokingly saying to Kruger that I rap because we did, but we were both. I was terrible at the time, so I wasn't really going to do it. But I was drunk enough that Kruger came up later and said, "We've got one space left. Do you want to do it?" And I was just like, "Yeah." And then he's like, "What's your name?" And I was like, "Sheffield or something." Kind of not even sure. And I was so shit, mate, honestly, that I think they just, there was kind of like it felt, I think people thought I was trying to be funny on purpose, but I was not. And I said something like, I'll take you to France and start making you dance. Right. That was one of the opening rhymes. And I think people just found it funny, but I was trying to do good, but I was doing shit. And, so basically, I won the first battle, which was against Lefty, weirdly enough.
Oh, right.
So, or maybe he was the second. I think he was the first against Lefty. And I think, oh God, it was so awful rhymes. It was like, you're not a real MC, Lefty. You'll get hit with a lefty, as in a left knee or something like that. It was rubbish anyway. And but I think I got the sort of novelty vote and got through that one. And then there was a 3-way one between me, Tongue Twister, and DK.
Shit.
DK with a K.
Yeah.
And I think Tongue Twister went out in the first round, then DK beat me. And then she went to battle Liquid, I think, who I then battled on my second battle of, the second written battle. But yeah, so basically they called me back because I got along with Rowan, I think, on the night. It was just a kind of silly event. And so that led to him calling me back and asking for the RS battle. And
there's no footage of that event.
There's a tiny bit of footage actually. There was a compilation of the night, right. Best bits, and I think I'm not in that, but I am on screen on it, which is an accomplishment, or felt amazing at the time. Right, actually, right. I was just really, really psyched. But yeah, so there is a little bit of footage. I'll link it to you afterwards.
Yeah, please. I would love to see that. And when you get the message that you've got your first official, Don't Flop, this is going to be the Boom Bap pre-party. Were you excited? Yeah. Were you nervous or?
I was really, really excited and nervous. I don't think I'd ever felt anything like it, really, because I was a really bad writer at this time. I was really, really, really bad, and I didn't put any kind of... I'd never finished a track. Me and Theo were always writing tracks together, but I never really finished one. I could only write one with him that we both did as like a 2 thing. But by myself, I couldn't ever complete anything. So when it was actually at an event, it was when Gibbo tried out and Quill tried out as well. Oh. And so we were there just to see it live because we felt we'd, kind of worked our way into it would be good to see it live. And then Rowan actually calls out at the end of the day, if RS, Shuffle T, Liquid and Flames are here, then come meet me outside and we'll talk. And then he basically just there and then with RS there, who was quite an intense guy actually, didn't want to mess about, was just kind of like, do you want to battle these guys? And I was just like, against him. And I just was kind of like, yeah, sure, why not? Kind of just bravado. And then on the way home, honestly, I think I didn't stop trying to come up with stuff and just talking with Theo and just being like, I could say this. And I thought I was having something to talk about, having a focus, like another human being, is infinitely easier than writing a track where the world is your oyster, unless you have a very specific thing to focus on. It's so easy to get lost and confused and stop halfway through. So I wrote a bit better than I had been before, and that gave me a real confidence boost. It was shit looking back on it. It was appalling, and it was really lowest common denominator stuff. It was racist in parts. It was really homophobic, and I was just kind of going on what I felt rap was about, and it was before I really understood rap, so I was kind of betraying myself. I didn't really like this stuff, but I felt like I had to, and that was stupid now, and obviously I regret it, but it was a weird decision that I kind of felt was right, but it wasn't. I mean, it was right in that I won the battle, which is great, and I felt happy, but it wasn't. I wasn't being myself on stage. I was being what I felt I needed to be, which is the opposite of what you should do, obviously.
Yeah, entirely. And this isn't an endorsement of your behaviour, but I don't think you should cringe too bad, because in a weird way, everyone's a little bit racist and homophobic in their tryout. Like, you just I'm not saying that's a good thing, but it's true.
You're absolutely right, and it's one of those weird things where, because it's such a such a trope of well, certainly the homophobia is such a trope of rap that no one feels ashamed of doing it, and so people just do it and just think, that'll be fine. I can call him gay, or I can call him a faggot or something like that, and it will be absolutely fine. The racist element is absolutely fine as long as the guy's not black most of the time. If you want to have a go at a guy who's Asian, then it's kind of, that's absolutely fine. That's fair game, and you can use all the kinds of slurs that you want. but obviously, because of the culture and the history of it, it's mostly focused around that kind of racism. You don't normally hear too much racism against black people. And I think that was one of those weird things that just happens in rap, and it's just it feels like it's okay for some reason when obviously hate is hate, and all that kind of thing is bad. But that is the good thing about battling, is that it's meant to be an arena wherein obviously everything is okay and you can say anything within reason, which sounds completely contradictory and is, but everyone knows where their own line is, I guess. Yeah,
completely. And when I watched this battle, I hadn't watched this for many years before this episode, I was surprised at some of the stuff you said, actually. And some of the audience will be like, ooh, I mean, we'll get into a few of the bars that kind of, maybe cower slightly, but RS, interesting thing about RS, this was actually his last battle. He never battled again after this, but he did battle a lot before on Supreme Battle League. Do you remember them?
Yeah, SBL, which I always thought was, I think I even made a joke about it, but I genuinely thought was Singaporean Battle League before I knew the acronym. So it was he battled, I think, Flames with a Z.
Yes,
obviously was his kind of.
He also battled Conflict with 2 Ks.
Yeah, well, you've got to completely change the spelling of a word, otherwise no one will take you seriously. I should have just been Shuff L, then people would really care. But yeah, I mean, he never battled again. I don't know why, but weirdly enough, I swear I remember talking to someone a year or two later. Someone maybe even approached me on the street and saying that I needed to have a rematch with RS, and that RS was not happy with the way that our battle went. And wanted to rematch, and obviously that wasn't going to happen because there was no interest in that, and I certainly didn't care. But that's an odd thing that genuinely happened. That's a little behind the scenes thing that I have no idea why. But yeah, apparently I think RS, unless that was just bollocks, but someone definitely told me that he wanted a rematch and he wasn't happy.
Yeah, he kicks this off, and this happens a lot against You Shuffle. We get like a card scheme, mentions of cards, mentions of shuffling. All it took was some diamonds to jack her from this Joker.
That's not bad. I mean,
digging deeper than a spade in a fanny and a poker.
Digging deeper than a spade. I mean, that's not.
No. And then he's like, I stole her heart and now she's on a king handling a boner. It's like boner just kind of comes out of nowhere there. Like, is that a suit?
It's the hidden suit. It's the one that if you're playing, those porno cards that you got in school. I think that's like, the Jack of Fannies and Queen of Boners and the Ace of Arse.
And the clown on Christmas Day, I'm laughing at your presents.
Yeah, I mean that's a classic, isn't it?
Yeah,
that's brilliant. You've got to admire someone still doing that. I think.
Presents wordplay may long continue, and then we have a kind of classic letters. I mean, you've got a T, he's got an RS. T will always be after RS. Check the alphabet.
Check the alphabet, have a look at that. Yeah. Make sure, because I don't know if you remember. Do you know, the funny thing is, I was going to do a bar with that myself. I remember thinking, it's an RST, you come after me, or something like that. I can't remember. But I remember thinking, well, what does that even mean? Even then, I think I thought it doesn't mean anything. No one's going to be like, oh yeah, his letters are before or after his in the alphabet, therefore he's a better rapper. I don't think anyone would make that leap.
No, I agree. I remember C Major said against Ogmios, like, how's your name OG, but you're not an original gangster? It's like, well, that's just a coincidence, see? Like, they don't actually have any relationship. From the off, you're in multi-mode. Do you remember the first line you ever spat?
Yes, because I was going to try and make it a little catchphrase, I think. I think it was, this motherfucking guy has been to London Dungeon twice.
That's correct, yeah.
Yeah, because I did that in the liquid one. I said, this motherfucking guy's nose has doubled up in size, or something like that. And I was going to try and make it my thing, where I started every battle with this motherfucking guy and then did that rhyme scheme. But I did not do that.
And
for whatever reason.
No, and you kind of, a lot of idea of him being a tourist, and being on the wrong side of the escalator. It's very funny stuff. Like, it's clearly shuffle tea, like maybe not as polished as you'll become, but you're still commanding the audience quite well.
Thank you. I mean, interestingly, I was thinking ahead of time, I'm going to use this podcast to just give every single little behind the scene moment that might actually be relatively interesting. But the next time I met Rowan after that event, he quoted that line back to me, the escalators on the left, and I think that was one of the things that made him want to bring me back, was because it was like a relatable thing. And I think that is maybe the truest line to my character that I had in it, which is this whole like a little middle class problem almost. So I think that's what he liked about it. So there's a little behind the scenes bit.
You talk about his mother's cooking, her sweet. I mean, it's quite on a multi kind of aspect. I actually think it's quite creative. You talk about how sweet and sour is weak in power, which again is kind of not something you'd necessarily say, but
weak in power.
She made some shit with wheat and flour, seasoned carrots, leek and pasta, expecting me to eat for hours. I said I'd rather eat chihuahua, and she said fine, number 3 for starters.
Yeah, see, that was another difference that you can see between that, apart from the inherent racism that I try to avoid these days, but is also the lax approach to multis there. So obviously the Dida is the rhyme scheme, because that's what I started off with, but like sweet and sour doesn't rhyme with 3 for starters. No, it just doesn't. No. And it doesn't even rhyme with peas and carrots or whatever that one was. They could work as maybe in between ones, but I would never be that lax anymore to sort of do that. But I guess back in those days, if it sounded similar, I was happy.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, I mean, I was kind of happy with that line though. I think at the time I was like, no, that's a kind of clever for a racist bar.
Yeah, it worked. It did work. It's playing on preconceived notions, like you say, and then you have kind of like a name flip that's like a question. You're like, you're going to hear the sound of the police. Okay, RS.
Okay, RS. Yeah, God, that was abysmal. I was trying desperately to show people that I knew anything about hip hop, and the funny thing about that is I think I had to Google tracks by KRS to get that line, to prove to people that I knew about it, which is obviously just bollocks, and I'm so ill-equipped to talk about hip-hop.
It's lovely that you flip, because I mean, majority of RS's second is kind of on your girlfriend, blah blah blah, cliche things, and then you announce at the start of your second freestyle, like you sort of say it, and then keep talking that shit. It's going to get ugly. You can't have a go because my girlfriend loves me. She's beautiful and straight up lovely, and sucks my noodle almost as good as your mumsy.
Yeah. Christ. And I mean, obviously I said the word freestyle, and that means exactly what you think it means, which is that I thought of that ahead of time. And so I think I had 2 flips in that as well, and I think the other one was a pre-written one as well, premeditated flip. Just trying to, and saying the word freestyle is just such a, when I think about it, it's quite a overthinky, in the moment thing to do, and just be like, oh, this is freestyle. Obviously you don't need to say that. If you're doing a flip, people assume it's a flip, but I said it to make people know, and it wasn't. It's just a lie.
And then here's the bar that I thought, oh, this is kind of unshuffle-esque. You basically, speaking to RS here, you say, you hope that last September's tidal wave had sort of washed him away, basically, kind of a huge natural disaster.
Yeah, Christ. What was that? That was like it was like, just because you decided didn't try to stay through the tidal wave doesn't mean we can tape in every type of stray or something like that.
Yes, that was it. Yeah.
Yeah. See, the weird thing about that is, so I in real life, I think I would probably make a joke about natural disasters, or I don't think there should be a bit of a a line when you're among friends or whatever, those kind of things. I think that's fine, and I like the idea of like appalling people sometimes, but that whole Jimmy Carr thing of appalling people and getting a laugh, I think that's great. But there, saying I think that could have been salvaged as an okay line if I didn't say the thing about taking in every type of stray, because that just seems so nasty, and so like I've genuinely got a problem with it, and which is horrible. And looking back on it now, I would have avoided saying that. I think I still would have kept in something about the tidal wave, because I think there could be something that you could do with that. But Jesus Christ, not to like equate him to Vernon.
And he like
what I was doing, like Hitler. So yeah, I would have avoided that.
You just hear people go, ooh, like, you know,
and rightly so.
Yeah.
I was a little window there. I don't know. It's just one of those things. Again, I just thought, I'll just do this, but it's weird to think that was only 4 years ago.
Yeah,
and how different I would approach that now. Differently, sorry.
Yeah, and RS, he tries to neutralise, because obviously after 2 rounds you are doing really well. Like, regardless of some of the affectations of the lyrics, like, it's still really, really fun to watch, really funny. He keeps saying that was pretty shit. He says that at the start of each round, and that kind of works against him almost. Kind of similar to what Ambi did against Bobby Rex after his kind of acronym, what was that shit? Where it's kind of like, oh, we all just love that. Like, I know what he's going for, but it's just kind of like, he kind of plays counterintuitive. Quite a lot of funny bad bars from RS here. Ain't a 99p store, but you'll see the Poundland.
Christ, that doesn't even make sense. I mean, 100p store would work, but that doesn't have the same catch, does it?
I quite liked I'll sync shuffle quicker than iTunes.
Yeah, I like that. I remember liking that.
Yeah.
That was good. That was an inventive, nice one.
Yeah, quite inventive. And then in your third as well, you're kind of wrapping stuff up here. We have something that we see a lot in these early battles where you kind of, it's very like a quick multi attack at the end of your third, where you're kind of almost showing how well you can do it.
Yeah. I guess I think that was a last minute change as well. I think before, maybe 2 days before that, it was something completely different, which I don't remember. But then I had, it was something like, grab an anodin and pack it in.
Right.
And dadadin to dadadin to dadadin. And again, I think I wanted to make that another trope that I was going to do each time, was like have a little attack. Yeah, a little flurry, as you say, like a little torrent of multis, which were kind of simplistic, like babba dabba dabba or something like that, and try to just show off at the end, but it wasn't very good, really.
And then it's kind of like Animal Online. I don't know if you remember, you say the word African but really high pitched.
Oh yeah, whether it or African. Yeah. And that happened in the Liquid battle as well. In the Liquid battle, I shout, "You're an embarrassment," which is I've only just realised kind of rhymes. An embarrassment. You're African. Maybe it's just that syllable I have trouble with. But I just shouted it and just voice completely cracked. Don't know why. I tried to make a little meant to do it. Yeah.
I guess you play it off though. Like, it's quite within the whole scheme of things. And then we get the judging at the end. Pamphlet gives it to you 2-1. He gives RS the third, which I was a little surprised about. But I guess you got to make it a bit more fair as a tryout. Bent Legs as well gives it to you. MA gives it to you. He bigs up Africa and Abe, Jake, and Roy. Yeah. Yeah. I remember being really happy that he did that. Yeah. The guys who spill their waste. I mean, Heretic mentions this, and we'll kind of get onto that later. But obviously, you do the whole kind of, I think you call him like a Malaysian rent boy and stuff like that.
Yeah, all that bollocks.
But regardless, Shovel, it's a terrific debut. And what was the feeling after getting on stage? After doing it.
Well, weirdly enough, I know that is that's my cleanest performance I've ever done, which is odd. It's also the least nervous I've ever felt about a battle, and I think I was so happy when I heard Rowan laugh at a couple of bits that I was just completely intoxicated and off that, because I mean, having obviously watched it for so long and seeing Rowan as a little bit of a celebrity and kind of also just really respecting his take on anything, having him laugh at it was literally like a drug on stage, and having the audience sort of, the audience kind of follow Rowan's reactions, and so they were laughing, and it just, it felt amazing. And I definitely knew I wanted to do more of it, but I knew also that I had to do it with Theo, which is a weird thing to say at that point. But basically, me and Theo, before we got into Don't Flop, we were saying, and this sounds, stupid or whatever, but like it was about a year before we got into it, we were at a pub in Reading, and we were just saying, if we got into Don't Flop and did a 2-on-2, I swear we'd do well. And we just really believed that. We were just like, I swear, our chemistry would work. And it sounds like I'm saying that retrospectively, but we were genuinely saying that before. And it was kind of a dream, but also one that we thought we could genuinely do. And weirdly enough, if we had gone in for it at that point, then we would have been terrible, but we kind of got a bit of practice under our belts. But yeah, so I was thinking I need to do this more and I need to get Theo involved, really was my thought then, and I just loved it.
So it was a blessing in disguise that you sort of entered the 2-on-2 with Gibbo and went out the first round?
Yeah, definitely. I really believe that. I mean, weirdly enough, before me and Gibbo battled, me and Theo had one battle that wasn't released, but we had a 2-on-2 against Tony D and Pamphlet.
No way.
Yeah. So the footage is still somewhere.
Yeah.
I think we've got it. I think it was Pamphlet's leaving thing, right? So Pamphlet was going to have his last hurrah, which was this whole like event that he put on in St Albans, and originally we were meant to be Pamphlet and O'Shea. But then O'Shea couldn't do it, and then it was going to be Pamphlet and Impact, but then Impact couldn't do it, so then it turned out to be Pamphlet and Tony D, which was amazing, because he was the champ at the time. And me and Theo had only had one battle that was released. I'd had the Liquid battle again, but that wasn't released. And so we had this battle in St Albans against Pamphlet and Tony D, and I mean, I think we won because Tony D did not prepare, and that's all he kept saying was, I did not prepare for this, and to be honest, probably got more reaction than all of our stuff put together. But we had 3 rounds of basically the first iteration of any kind of like, whatever, Shuffle and Marlo 2-on-2 style stuff that had ever been done. We were really happy with it, really, and still looking back, I'm quite proud of it because it was quite a big opportunity. But Pamphlet had one of my favourite multis that had been said, which was something like, or certainly said against us, which is, don't flop as a ship going fast over troubled seas, and Marlo and Shuffle T as cargo it doesn't need, which was really, really nice. But yeah, anyway, sorry. Yeah.
No, that's fucking dope. And you've got me sort of salivating the prospect of that one day drop in like that. They have to drop that.
Man. We've talked about it so much because I know someone's got it. But there was some kind of complications. Some people didn't want it up, some people did, and it's kind of still in the ether. But I'm sure one day it will drop and it will get the 20 views it deserves.
Put that as a bloody incentive on Indiegogo, and I think people would donate. You know what I mean? Like Shovel T and Marlo versus Pamphlet and Tony. Like,
yeah, I can pretend it's happening now. I could even pretend to stream it live on Facebook and say, "Look, we'll do this if you donate £1,000." And then before they know it, I'm in Barbados. So fuck them.
And as we get into 2013, which is, the same story of so many people that I've had on the show, like their first year of battling is the most intensive year. You yourself had 13 uploads in 2013.
Fucking hell, did I really? That's more than one.
Yeah, it's fucking crazy. Well, technically the question was released in 2014, but you know what I mean? It was done then. So it is dizzying. And before we get onto Soweto, obviously I should say as well, sort of you and Marlo, maybe in the future we can sort of cover that kind of career, but there's kind of these dual parallels. I want to talk briefly about a battle that probably most people haven't seen, just quickly. You versus Sergio.
Oh, yeah.
And just interesting because I saw there was sort of Red JSD, different side to you there. A lot of film references.
Yeah. I think I was taking that because I knew it was kind of a different audience, and I thought this is a chance to kind of have a go at something a bit different and see if this is what I was meant to be doing, because there was a whole section through basically the Sergio battle and Jack Sexton as well, who I choked awfully against. Those 2 battles I was kind of trying to see if I could be more of a serious rapper, because I really respected the whole craft of writing and I didn't want to patronize it by being comedic all the time, and I felt like I owed it to be serious, weirdly. And so with the Sergio battle, I tried to do schemes and I tried to do just lots of references to film and maybe some like myths or like just general things that would make me sound like I took it seriously, but it just wasn't me.
Yeah, that is true. The tone is very, very different from sort of later things. And it's just an interesting relic as a fan, really. And I urge people to go back and check it out. I mean, it's got 11,000 views, which is not bad in a minor league, really.
That's okay, yeah. I mean, to be honest, Sergio was really good as well. He has a couple of really nice moments. He was quite URL inspired, and so it was interesting to go against him and sort of make. I think I had one of my the scheme I did was about him being like American inspired, and I remember being quite happy with that. But looking back, again, there's a couple of bars in there that are very questionable. Like I was doing all the like American states or like 10 American states or something like that, and I was like. This is your main plan, so I'll ask a question or something like that. And it wasn't great, but I was happy with it at the time.
Yeah, Maine, what a gift, right? Just to
right.
Yeah, it's kind of very, very easy. Yeah, I've tried to think like thank you, Tar. Or something like
thank you, Tar. That's amazing.
And you used the dinosaur scheme against Harry Baker, son. Can't help but think it's because you're the same age as one. Well, since you're making comparisons to a dinosaur, I'll hook you up to contraptions and make you die. No saw. Bad bar throwback because he's so whack. So let me take it again, and you can start to feel Harry Baker's revenge.
So yeah, we get to Soweto, which you were saying prior to RS, you and Marlo were dreaming in some Reading pub of DF stardom, and this is post bad bars, post compliments. This is your first single battle after that. Like, did you feel you'd arrived to some certain extent, or? I
felt like I had found myself. This sounds so twatty and pretentious, but I felt like I'd found myself a bit more as a writer in that way, and the compliments battle had given me such a confidence boost that I think I understood writing a bit more. This probably would have been after the conversation with Soul as well, so it would have I would have been thinking differently about all that kind of stuff. And I felt like I had a bit of a backing, and that I wasn't going in too much as an underdog, and I felt confident, and I thought I was going to win that battle. So, going into it, which I now is something, it's a thing of the past, really. But at that point, I genuinely, from the hype of everything happening, I was really convinced that I was going to do a good performance and win a battle.
And Soweto, I mean, what can you say about Soweto, right?
Soweto is the most interesting person in battle rap, I think. He's so, his music and the stuff that he does is so different to what everyone else does. And he's such a likable fucker.
Yeah,
like you can't dislike him, on or off battling. In battles, he's very likable, and he freestyles amazingly.
Yeah,
he really is a talent, an amazing talent.
Yeah,
who should really be. He deserves everything he gets in a good way.
Yeah, no, I absolutely agree. Yeah, the guy on and off the battle stage is just fucking ridiculously gifted. Majorly talented musician and such a wit as well. Like, he really is kind of a Renaissance man. But let's get into you insulting him. And actually calls it one of the best matches on the card. We're in the ever reliable Fiddler's Elbow here. Our bunker, as I want to say. Like, so many classic matchups going down here, and we get some Yunan style stuff almost from you in the first here. You can't just be as sharp as me. I passed degrees in archery at Harvard League. Trying to go bar for me is like going to the ancient past of Greece and craft machines on par with, I can barely say this, with each of Archimedes' last completed masterpieces.
Yeah, the last completed doesn't work in your accent, but yeah. Absolutely. I was that was one of those things where again, it was because of the conversation with Soul, and I just I took that Barber D rhyme scheme and just tried to rinse it. I remember being at work at the time and just thinking, what can I say on this rhyme scheme, and just going through it as much as I could, and then just coming out with that and being really happy. Ultimately, it's not aimed at him, really. It could have been said to anyone, but I was really happy with that. And the Gaza streets and
army
that whole
jeeps,
bit. That armed police or something like that.
Yeah, it was great. But like you say, you do it unironically though. Like you literally are talking about Archimedes and Greece, and it's just like which is fair enough.
Yeah, I really like any kind of Greek reference. Weirdly enough, before you called, me and my girlfriend were actually reading some Greek myths, just on the sofa,
digging in.
So any excuse to get in that kind of thing. I love all that. I just wish I was more more on it. But yeah, I like getting those kind of references. Obviously, Archimedes wasn't a myth, but you know what I mean.
Yeah. Was he's the guy who did Eureka? Is that right?
Yeah.
Displacement
water thing.
Yes, that's right. Yeah, in the bath. Yeah, I mean, we've all shot out year 8. But you say you took it of Soweto, and Soweto obviously gets this angle thrown at him a lot. I mean, we have the jazz angle which come out later, but the fact that he's slightly older than the normal battler. He's so old, in your opinion, he's so old he has blended Werther originals, which I thought was great.
Yeah, so any excuse to call someone old, I will always take in a battle. I don't know why, but it's one of my favourite angles. And like everyone has a thing. Everyone has, this guy's fat, this guy's stupid, this guy whatever. If someone is old, I will always take that opportunity. I don't know why. I just love it so much. And so the opportunity of just taking everything I could say to him and just being like, "You're old. It looks like your dad stumbled into the ring or something. It looks like anything like that." I'll always take the opportunity.
And you come with a fantastic impression of Harry Baker. You guys battling? Was that ever?
Maybe. Yeah. Why not? I mean, I know we've certainly it's been touched on, and I send jabs all the time.
Yeah.
But we're actually really, really close.
Yeah.
Outside of battling, but I mean, it could happen. I mean, neither of our styles are serious enough that it would be, damaging to our friendship. I don't think so. Yeah, maybe at one point. But we obviously we had the 2-on-2 not too long ago. But maybe as a solo, it could be a thing. I wouldn't mind that.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, you did, didn't you? And we have the whole dinosaur film. A little Slow It Down.
Yeah. Little tidbit for that. Frankie Fraser helped with that. So in the whole 2-on-2 with Cracker and C Major, where they're like, Frankie Fraser writes all your bars. This is the one bar that I've ever used by Frankie Fraser, and this is what that basically is what that is from, I think. And basically what it was is I showed Frankie, me and Frankie were really close at this time, me, Thea and Frankie, and I showed him I had 3 of them. So I had Dinosaur Film, Dinosaur Film, Die and a Saw, Film It. And then he said, when Diana saw film, and it was way too good to pass up. So I was just like, I'm definitely having that. I'm using that.
And that's the best line, isn't it, of the sequence?
Yeah, definitely. It really is. And I was... it was to my detriment, because I think if that never happened, that one example of me, which happens all the time, right? People just going, you said this, that rhymes with this, can I use that? Yeah, of course you can. But that is what led to the whole thing in the 2-on-2, I think, was that.
Yeah, that is interesting, isn't it? That you accuse each other of the same guy writing the other guy's rounds.
Yeah, it's funny because I mean, obviously, I won't go into it, but we know that happened in the reverse, but it would have been the same microscopic usage of 1 or 2 bits. Sure. That doesn't matter.
Yeah, just and then Soweto in his first saying your hair makes you look like a fancy bookmark.
Yeah, that was good. You have the swagger of a fancy bookmark, and that's amazing because it rhymes with my full name, which is Adam Woolard, which he then says Adam Woolard. Doesn't even have a good bard or something like that. Really good, because my name is really hard to rhyme with.
Yeah, it's nice. You're as manly to me as Amelie.
Yeah, it's nice.
And we have the kind of, slightly, I mean, I'm not saying it's cliche because Soweto's doing it, so it's very, very intelligently done, but the kind of angle is, you're not a rapper, what are you doing in a rap battle? That kind of thing. But I like Soweto's approach. This middle-class middleweight is more middle-class than Pippa Middleton's middle toe.
Yeah. Just silly, isn't it? Just silly, funny stuff.
And I have to ask you, Shuffle, I ask a lot of the writers this, why do we love wordplay?
I don't know. I think it's something to do with familiarity with words that you just haven't thought of. Yeah. And people love the idea that other people have thought of things in a different way. That's why the allure of the artist is so interesting, because all they're doing is, certainly with words, is just taking language that we all have all the time and seeing something in a slightly different way. And people are fascinated by that. And so I think if someone does something, especially with puns or, similes in that way, that you say all the time and they're so in the lexicon and you've just missed it every single time you said it, and then someone points it out and you go, Of course, it's like someone pointing out the answer in a riddle, which is obviously really pleasurable as well. When you know, and also disappointing, but you're like, "Fuck! Of course it is. Of course that's there." And it's just a really satisfying moment of two puzzle pieces getting put together, I think.
No, I completely agree. Yeah, it's kind of just the secret revealed, isn't it? It just kind of gives you a little bit of, sort of giddiness, but also cringiness. It's kind of a nice mix of bittersweet emotions. And
I mean, when you hear an amazing bit of wordplay, your reaction, like the ideal reaction, I think, from most people, is just a sort of groan, but in an appreciative way, and just be like, "Oh my god!"
It's like grown man bars.
Yeah, God.
Trying to tell you. And the reason I ask is because you say hip hop array, son. You need a hip hop oration, which I always loved.
Oh, nice one. Thank you. Yeah, I was happy with that one.
Yeah, that was one.
Hip hop array, obviously, like a bit of a throwback.
Yeah, definitely. Naughty by Nature, right? I think. Yeah. I mean,
it was just the sun. I think I actually said hip hop array, shun, like shun, as in sun. I don't know why I said that, but I just wanted to make it all work.
And then we have kind of, I guess, an Addison, a predecessor to what will become a common thing in your artillery later on, the kind of themed round. When you're talking about his sax.
Oh yeah, the sax thing. Yeah, I thought that was going to be my strongest round. A lot of people thought it was my weakest, so I wasn't. I think I shied away from doing that kind of thing afterwards. But yeah, themed rounds are definitely my favourite thing. That was to me that was a godsend when I heard that he lost his sax. I thought that was brilliant, and I thought I couldn't have asked for a better thing to talk about.
His sax taken like castration.
I was very happy with that.
Yeah,
I was very happy with that. Had their sax taken like castration. Yeah, it's soul like that one, I think.
Yeah.
I don't know which one's soul like.
It is like a seal of approval, isn't it? Though, like.
Yeah, I really do strive for his approval, and I don't know if he even knows that, but there's been a couple of times where he said nice things about things that I've said, and I've just been like, he'll never know how much that means to me. I always get so awkward when Soul's around. We just quote The Office to each other, but really and truly, I really respect his opinion and want to make him proud.
I know what you mean. I definitely, and the guy's so damn humble and likable as well. Like, you crave it even more.
It's annoying how nice he is.
Yeah. He's what a champ. And we've been spending all this time talking about multis, but obviously you also are very, very comedic. The timing is excellent. The way you can just sort of, you're very theatrical at times, but not in a kind of cliched way, in a very compelling way. Talking about his sax and how the people who'd stolen it. I'm sure they didn't engrave in it, "I'm the ketamine king." What am I talking about? They're crack addicts. They definitely did. It's great.
Yeah, thank you for that. I mean, I think like at that point I was still kind of finding my feet with the timing. I was rushing a lot for a lot of the battles before that, and I think it was after the Ricky Riley battle that I stopped rushing so much. But I think there was an element in all my battles of just kind of almost stumbling over myself with trying to get to the next bar. But yeah, I mean, the timing is one of the most important things. It's one of the things I've realised most now is that it's more important than anything, really. It's just taking a bit of a break. You can just say anything. You really can. If you say it with good enough timing, it's fine. I have this thing now where in every battle, I say the person's name as the first thing I say, and it always gets a laugh, and I don't know why, but it's something to do with timing. So I'll just go soliloquy and then hold it for a second. And then I just know people are going to laugh at it for some reason. Yeah.
I think you stole that off Liv Winter.
Did I really?
Well, J Red, Crafty. She used to always sort of talk like that. It's kind of weird. But,
I'll have to watch her back.
Yeah, exactly. That was interesting, her emergence in there. But I mean, this as well, Soweto Kinch versus Shuffle. It's a minor classic, really. It's just such a good battle.
Oh, thank you, man. Yeah, I think it was very close to call for the judges, which is good. And I was very happy with it at the time, with what I'd written.
And mentally, we're halfway through the year now, when you're on this kind of, defining moment, really, when you're taking all these battles. Was there any strain, or were you just kind of running on the adrenaline of how great it was to have stuff on the Don't Flop YouTube channel?
I'd had this whole wave of inspiration come from the compliment battles, and I was able to write really quickly, and so weirdly enough, by the time I was battling Soweto Kinch, I'd already written the stuff for Ricky Riley, which was my next battle. That was planned a long time before, and Soweto Kinch was about 2 or 3 weeks' notice. But I was really quickly writing, really, and just able to keep going, and I just thought it was going to just go up and up and up, and then I lost to Ricky Riley.
I was actually there. I lived in Liverpool at the time, and we went there.
Really? Did we speak?
No. This was we didn't speak or anything. This was just when I hadn't even battled. I was just at uni there, but I can't remember too much about that battle. I remember, didn't you have a second or third round that was just one multi though? I remember that was very impressive.
Yeah, probably. I think the third one was like, there was a really long multi-string that I was happy with, but I didn't realise it was boring because it was like
yeah,
it's like
great.
Or like stealing from private property. I think was I'm killing this guy. It's simple tonight. No, that's. I don't know. But yeah, it was basically, I think there was a long multi-string which kind of actually had the adverse effect of getting boring rather than climbing and, tension or anything like that.
Yeah, but to be fair to you though, that Liverpool room was a bit hard to perform in, wasn't it?
Yeah, they weren't a fan of me. If people who weren't Liverpudlian that night, they weren't on the side of too much.
No. But I mean, just the room in general. Remember the acoustics? It was quite boomy, wasn't it? High roofed.
Yeah, it was a huge room. Yeah, it was a massive room, wasn't it? It was like, and there was a whole like. The stands above it wasn't just one layer, it was the whole, like, it was like an arena. And it was massive, but it felt amazing when I was up on stage, but for the acoustics it wasn't great. No,
it is. I mean, Marlo and Most Prob is probably a slightly better Shufflo pick from that event, perhaps.
Yeah.
But, it's still interesting. And we'll get on to the next battle, which is a rare thing that happens in battles. This is probably one of your most memorable ones as well. This is like kind of the rare self body bag with Anton.
Oh yeah.
When people say I kill it, they mean that I have been a threat. When people say you kill it, they mean the vibe of the event. Like when this battle was confirmed, you should have seen what this pleb had fucking tweeted. The rest is up to God. You fucking knob. You think he'd ever come between us? Like he's gonna come to a rap battle in Brixton and let the fucking second coming greet us?
How did you and Anton get paired up? Because, I mean, obviously, for laughter's sake, it's clearly going to work on paper, but were you willing to take him? Because you were on such a trajectory at this point.
I did and still do genuinely dislike Anton Murphy. And he's the only person I've ever battled who I genuinely dislike. And it came out of, basically, he had the battle with... I really wish I remembered the other guy's name.
I'm going to look that up, yeah.
Els, maybe, or L. It was something like Els. Obviously not Els.
Right. Yeah.
But I can't remember his name. I wish I did. Yeah. But and I judged that battle, actually, and I gave it to Anton.
His name was Icy.
That was it.
Yeah.
That was it.
Yeah.
I knew it was 3 letters. That's what I'm working on. And I gave it to Anton because he was better in that battle, objectively, I think. But I didn't realise how much of an arsehole he was. And basically, he went on Twitter and just kept mouthing off at not only me, but Theo and Frankie as well. And I was really, really annoyed by it because he was just... I didn't know why he was doing it. He was just trying to be... trying to get attention, really. Yeah. And so I obviously fell for that trap and just started replying and just being like, what are you doing? Why are you being that way? And then I can't remember if it was suggested to me or if I suggested it, but it felt really obvious that I was just like, yeah, I definitely want to take this match. And I want to really beat this guy because he's genuinely not a good person, I felt. That's not true, obviously. I'm sure he's a good person, but he was trying to be nasty for the sake of nastiness, and I really didn't. Not even in that battle rap way, but in a way that went beyond that, I felt. So I wanted to battle him and I wanted to beat him, and he kept saying he was going to turn up with his goons and all this kind of thing. And then the people he turned up with were in bloody turtleneck sweaters and they looked absolutely charming. And I shook his hand when he was there, but he wasn't having it. He wasn't happy on the day or anything.
Yeah. I remember I actually covered the Anton Icy battle because I did this video on check it out on the channel, top 10 most disliked Don't Flop demo battles, and
Right.
I can remember in the battle he's so unsportsmanlike. I think Icy chokes twice. He's like, I told you he would, and stuff like that. He's like, nah mate, you choked, and he's kind of talking over his round and stuff. Yeah, he isn't, and obviously he had that kind of Big Brother fame, but it's not even like if he was on the Channel 4 like early 2000s, fair enough, but when it was on Channel 5 it's redundant, isn't it, really?
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, that was one of the things I really wanted to say to him, was kind of, I thought it might genuinely speak to him as a person if I was to sort of have a go at him. And yeah, the Channel 5 Channel 4 thing was one of those things that I just felt you can't think that you've got any genuine pull from being on Big Brother on Channel 5.
Yeah.
It's not okay. No. It's not even the good version of it.
No. It was if it's post Davina, then fuck off.
Yeah.
That is the watermark. And yeah, it's just, I mean, we don't need to go into too much of detail on this one, but it's supreme clowning from you throughout, really. In the first, I mean, it felt like the crowd are really fucking with you from the absolute start. Like, you know, they
were definitely on my side.
Yeah,
because no one liked him. No one liked him, and everyone knew that no one liked him, and everyone gave him a fair cop. Like, they were responding and they were being fair, which I think is brilliant. Mm-hmm. And you know, definitely the case, because you should be objective when you go into it. But yeah, I mean, people were very much had kind of made up their mind before the battle happened, I think, to an extent.
Yeah,
and yeah, he was just not a likable guy.
No, and when he throws tea bags at you.
Yeah, he threw tea bags. I think I still have that tea bag, you know. I kept it as like a relic, because I always thought one day, if I do a Kickstarter, like you said, I thought that would be a funny thing to give away to someone as part of like a, you know, if they cared. I'm sure they wouldn't care. I'm sure no one cares. But I thought it was an interesting battle relic. Sorry, this is a bit of a sidestep.
Please.
But I really like the idea of battle relics. Things that have been used in battles, like the tea bag and like the magazine that he reads. I would love that.
Cannabis's notebook.
Yeah, Cannabis's notebook, 100%. You know, the keyboard that Ark drops against Yunnan. Yeah. All those kind of things. I love the idea of having those in like a little room somewhere, or someone buying
like the Batcave or something.
Yeah, exactly. I love the idea that there's someone who lives in, like, I don't know, Norwich, who's just bought all of these without us knowing, and he's just sat there with them every day and just loves it. I'd love that.
Yeah, it's like really shitty ones as well, like Sensor's hat and stuff. Like,
yeah, the hood, or like with a mold of his ear that he's got made. And he's paid like silly money, like $1,000. I love that.
Yeah, please, I'm sure there are many other items that we're forgetting right now. The laptop that Zayn Azrai gets out against Grist, maybe.
Yeah, that'd be great. I mean, that probably is actually worth quite a bit of money.
Yeah, I think that's his personal work laptop, so you might not want to give that away. And just some of the stuff you say to Anton, really, it's concise as hell, and like, you know, you can't not rock with it. The whole everyone here is effectively pranking your phone, and you're too fucking stupid to hang up and go.
Yeah, I was really proud of some of the stuff I wrote in that. Actually, if I'm being honest, I think the rhyming element of it was nice, but I was just trying to sort of say as succinctly as I could that no one here likes you, and you genuinely have to deal with the consequences of that because you've been nasty. And I just wanted to put that in as fewer words as possible, I guess. And you know, that's why I do the whole "you're a fucking cunt, you're a fucking cunt, you're a fucking cunt, you're a fucking cunt" bit, because it was just like, I was just thinking, I don't have to be pretty with words all the time. You can just say, this is genuinely what I think of you. And I was really, really happy with a couple of bits. Actually, I think the one that I'm most happy with, aside from the third round bit where I say something about the Protestant, what was it? It was like Thomas Aquinas, God on my side, like Protestant choirs. I was really happy with that bit. But then the other bit, which I felt was one of the few things I've written that I could maybe put on a level with something that Kruger would write. Kruger is my benchmark for good writing. And I think he's the best writer. And I think sometimes you say something and you're like, I think maybe Kruger would put this in a bar, in a battle, if that makes sense. And it sounds cocky to say, so I hate to say it, but it was like a little bit in there where it was like, he started singing a verse. He started doing a verse, and I knew all the words. I don't know if you remember that, but it was like he said, "You repeat things, repeating old." Yeah, that was it. So it was repeating things that other people have said. Reusing bars is so stupid it hurts. He doesn't seem to realize someone else was doing them first. He said, "I've just started written a track for something new in the works." He started doing a verse, and I knew all the words. And I felt that was something that maybe Kruger would say.
Yeah, Kruger, Anton Murphy. I can't really see that going down, but I mean,
I would love it.
Everyone's like, "What the fuck?" Like Kruger's return is just like wasted on this guy. But no, I agree. And the whole crave attention like David Brent in the training sessions.
Yeah, I was happy with that. I think that was what kicked off the obsession with trying to make an Office reference in every battle.
Yeah, I mean, we all love that show, but I'm getting the impression that you love that show, right?
I love that show. Yeah, I'm obsessed with that show. I quote it all the time. Me and Theo both do. Me and Marlo, and a couple of other people. There's quite a few people really. In like Frankie is obsessed with it as well, and I love to try and get us into there because I just love the idea of someone stumbling across it who's really into The Office and just wouldn't expect that crossover to see it and to clock it.
Yeah, you need to sort of go a bit deeper. Like, have you done a Finchy bar yet?
No, but Danny Jack did. Danny Jack said these friends are. He said they always hang out like Ren and Stimpy, but these friends are cringy like Brent and Finchy, which is great, which is amazing. Ren and Stimpy and friends are cringy, and Brent and Finchy was brilliant.
Yeah, maybe if you were facing someone who doesn't make music or wants to, you've only got tunes on the head like Hat FM. That's the only way.
Yeah, nice.
Something like that. But again, I'm trying to tell Chauffeurs to do Office bars here. This is
no, you've done it.
Yes, now Anton was the last solo battle you did in 2013, and the entirety of 2014 was all doubles battles. There's 8 uploads until you do another singles battle, which is with Twist that we'll get into, but that almost becomes a doubles battle as well.
Yeah.
Like, you'd always, obviously, you and Marlo, I guess at this point, obviously, you and Marlo were 2-on-2 champions. So did it feel you had to kind of adhere to that status and really go out there?
I think it was actually a very conscious decision that we were making, that we've had a bit of a complicated relationship with battling, which kind of goes from love-hate all the time. And I think in that year, we were very... we just felt that there was no point in doing single battles because they weren't getting us anywhere. And, I guess something that we were always bearing in mind was that battling was a really fun thing to do, and we were getting kind of obsessed with it, but it was a means to an end, really, which was trying to get into comedy. And we just felt that we were getting so much more attention when it was us two together compared to our solo stuff, and we just thought, let's just focus on that for now and then see where that takes us. And so for that whole year, I think we were just doing those things, and they did a lot for us, whereas if we had done some solo stuff, it would have probably been a bit of a waste of an opportunity.
It's an unbelievable run of battles as well, to be fair. If we kick off with C Major and Cracker forward, then Quest and Marv, then Shiz and Wiz, then Fantastic, then Durba. It is just wonderful to see. It's just kind of a golden run.
Oh, nice one. Thank you, man.
No, it's so good. And one of the things that I want to ask briefly is, obviously, you went out to King of the Dot for the first time against Dirtbag Dan and Caustic. I mean, just how fucking exciting. The story that you tell against Kid Twist of, being picked up by Lush and was that true?
Yeah, absolutely true. It was the weirdest experience that me and Theo have ever had. And, yeah.
So did Lush pick you up from the airport, or...?
Lush picked us up from the airport, and we were meant to be going to Motel 6, but they didn't have our reservation.
Right.
So we stuck with Lush and his lovely lady, Helen, and we went all around LA, and they were like, do you know what, we've got a meeting, but, you guys want to explore? And then we were like, yeah, sure. So first of all, we went to Smokey Martinez, who was a DJ,
right.
And so we were there, and that was in the hood, the proper hood bit, which was really scary. And then we went to the amazing place in, the Boulevard and all that. And we went into the meeting with this guy, Alki David, who is, I think, the 36th richest person in the USA. And we were there, and he was kind of interrogating us and asking like, what's the battles, you know, scene like in England? And he's asking Theo, who's high, really, really high, and I don't smoke, so I was fine. But he was asking Theo, and Theo's just like out of it, and so I'm just like trying to take the questions, and he's like, where are the battles? And I was like, London. And he's like, well, of course London. Where in London? I was like, I'm in Brixton sometimes. And he was like, right. And then he's like, this interview's over. And then he went, and we were just leaving, and it was the weirdest experience ever. And then I think when we got out, Lush said that one of the guys in the office had just maybe come out for time from jail for doing something really nasty, but I can't remember. But yeah, basically crazy. It was really, really odd.
That's insane. Because Alki David, like you say, is on like, you know, the Forbes power list and all that sort of shit. Like, it's huge.
And I mean, the best part of that whole thing was me and Theo have, you know, when you've been best friends with someone for so long, you have that sort of silent communication. All it takes is an eye flick and you know what each other mean. But we didn't talk about it the whole time. And then we were dropped off in the hotel eventually, in this really nice hotel. And then we sat down. Both of us were completely silent for about 5 minutes. And then we just had a real bad sitcom moment where we just laughed for, honestly, about 3 minutes straight. And we're just going, what the fuck just happened? Why are we here? Why were we in that meeting? Why is any of this Why were we in the hood? And it was just the funniest thing. And we just laughed for ages. But what a story. I love those kind of stories.
Amazing. And, you know, maybe that was, I don't want to say omen, but it's certainly a portent to what goes on, because the battle goes really well with Dirtbag Dan and Caustic. But am I right in thinking that you were in the room when Diz punched Math?
Yeah, I was right at the back. And I, honestly, mate, I walk quite a leisurely pace usually. Like, you know, I've got long legs, so I can walk kind of fast, but I walk kind of amberly, and I've never walked quicker in my life, but I didn't want to run because I didn't want to look like I was afraid. So I just walked to the exit as quick as I could. So I'm just walking really fast paced walking. Theo stayed, but I was just out of there because I was thinking, this is America, I don't know what the fuck could go on. And I remember it was actually a weird moment. This is another behind the scenesy bit, but I went outside and sat on the wall, and then sort of just really sad, actually, that this had happened. Really sad that a fight had broken out, and just feeling, you know, that's a shame. That kind of sets back, especially with Alki David being interested in that event. And a couple of seconds later, Carter Deems comes out and sits next to me. It was the first time we'd really met, was the day before. So he came and sat next to me, and we kind of chatted for a bit and just saying what a shame it was. And then Head Ice comes out. And he's cool as a cucumber. He doesn't give a damn. He's because he is that cool all the time. And he sees me and Carter talking, and he compliments us on our 2-on-2 that we just had against Dan. And so I'm about to say, you know, oh, that was it. But Carter just jumps in and goes, "Thank you so much, man," and just starts taking the compliments. So that was a great moment as well. So something good came out of it.
I do remember, literally, I remember this event was huge, and I was really excited that you guys were on it, and obviously this battle was going on. I think Big K, Danny Myers went down as well there. I think that was another one that I was quite looking forward to, and I was following the updates the following morning, scrolling through, and when I heard that Math and Diz had a fight and it'd been a brawl, my first thought went to Shuffle and Marlo. I was like, I wonder what they were doing in the middle of this crazy like LA gang warfare. Like,
the answer was walking out as quick as possible. But the weird thing is, every time we've been over to King of the Dot, there's been a ruckus, because when we went the next time with the Kid Twist thing, we there was a guy who jumped on stage and shouted something out and then got kicked off by a hitman little brother. And then got kicked in the head by Arsenal, I think. So that there's always some kind of you don't want to see a Marlo with
the compliment battle. Did anything happen there, or?
No, but that wasn't technically King of the Dot. That was so I could use that excuse. Nothing happened there. That was too nice.
And then we get to, you know, you return to King of the Dot. Obviously they wanted you guys back because it was really, really good 2-on-2 battle. This was what seemed on the face of it, a solo battle, you versus Kid Twist. How was this organised?
So that was actually their idea. So a lot of people assumed it was our idea because we were doing little gimmicks and stuff like that. But it was It was 100% Kid Twist and Nameless idea, and because I think what had happened was that I had been invited out to have a battle, but I really, again, like I was saying before, we weren't on the idea of doing one-on-ones that much, so I said no a couple of times to Kid Twist as a solo, and then he came back with that new idea of turning it into a 2-on-2, which I just thought, if it's a first, we'll do it. And it hadn't been done before, at least in the written era, recorded. So we kind of thought, yeah, why not? Let's go for that. And it was really fun to write for, because it was, every round was different. So it wasn't, obviously when you think of it being a 1-on-1 turning to a 2-on-2, it was actually a 1-on-1 turning to a 2-on-1 turning to a 2-on-2, if that makes sense. So it was a different thing each time. But I do think it was not our best writing for the 2-on-2s. I think we've done a lot better. But I was really happy with the 1-on-1 stuff in the first round.
Yeah, completely. And was this the event when you were with Bullets and pretended he was Drake?
Yeah. He was pretending I was Drake.
Oh, right.
And kept out of covered under, because he looked like a bouncer, he said, and so if he or a bodyguard, so he put his coat over me, and then we went out and there was these screaming girls just assuming that I was Drake, and then I took the coat off and you could hear the accumulative just for fuck's sake, it's I don't even know. Not Drake.
Yeah, I remember watching that video. I think that's on some behind the scenes thing somewhere. Yeah. But I always remember seeing that, and that was really fun. And crazy as well to see that as you're delivering your material against Twist, Murder Mook's there. That was an amazing. I didn't foresee that, and I certainly didn't expect him to laugh. You loved because it. I thought, he seemed really on board with it, but I thought he was going to hate me. I was kind of intimidated by the fact that he was there. And I just assume, I guess kind of a stereotypical view that he wouldn't be into the sort of nerdy side of it, but he didn't mind it. But I should have known, really, because he likes Kid Twist. But he was he was on board with it, which was amazing, and I felt so blessed to have been able to perform in front of him. And obviously Drake, who was in the pit of the sort of projector box at the back, and I wish I could have seen his reaction, but I was told that he was really enjoying it, which is amazing. Didn't he tweet about you? Am I dreaming that? Didn't he tweet about Shovel T and Marlo, Drake, or something like that?
No, I mean, so the day after the Compliment Battle came out, he tweeted something saying that he liked what the UK was doing for battle rap, and so I always hoped that was aimed at us. But weirdly enough, in that event, I actually met Drake, and it's it's probably one of the moments that's stuck out to me, is that he came up and I was outside smoking a cigarette, mum and dad, if you're listening, which you probably are, and I was smoking a cigarette out on the back bit where the performers went out, and I saw these two Escalades come up, and with blacked out windows, and I thought, fuck, this is actually going to be Drake, isn't it? And then it was Drake, and then I was like, oh my Christ, what do I do? So I just stood against the wall as close to the wall as I could get, just so we had a thoroughfare so we could get through to the door, which is on my right. And it was the most surreal moment ever, because he smiled at me, came over and shook my hand, and said that me and Theo were his favourites in the world.
Fuck.
Which, and I couldn't believe it, and I was just like, no one is going to believe this, and so I'm almost not even going to tell anyone except for Theo, who I know would believe me. But then Dirtbag Dan had seen it, and then I went on to Dirtbag Dan's sort of behind the scenes show, which was happening at the same time, and he brought it up, which I was so happy about, because I just thought I was never going to be able to really tell people and have them believe it. But yeah, it was honestly an amazing moment, and I just could not believe it. And I really thought that maybe we could have a pint afterwards, but it didn't happen, which is a shame.
Fuck. Maybe share a cup of lean or something, but yeah.
Yeah, I could pretend to sip it.
That's fucking mad, though. That is absolutely insane.
It was amazing. And afterwards, when he was still up in that bit, I kind of hung around and sort of tried to wave to him. and get his attention so I could talk to him, because I had an idea me and Theo have been working on a battle rap sitcom for a long time, and we were going to try and talk to him about that, because he funded some UK shows, like Top Boy, I think he funded this series because he liked it. And I was really going to try and get him the script, but we didn't end up speaking to him, which is always a regret that I didn't sort of try harder to take that opportunity that was there. Real shame, but maybe one day.
Yeah, and I mean, battle rap sitcom, that sounds fucking awesome. Like, have you guys written like actual like episodes or?
Yeah, so we've got a pilot written, and it was sent around to a bunch of channels a year or two ago. We had a production company who kind of reached out and asked us to do it, and we are actually really happy with it. And it's just one of those things where it's hard to get a channel executive on board with the idea, because they don't see it as sort of a thing that's that workable. But it's still there, and we've still got it written, obviously, and we've got some other ideas for other episodes going, and it's kind of loosely based on mine and Theo's thing, but kind of, exaggerated characters and stuff like that. But I think it could be a thing.
And is it like mockumentary? Is it free camera?
No. So it would be kind of quite a traditional sitcom, really. Just very. It would kind of be a bit like Flight of the Conchords, right? I think, which has some free camera elements, but it's usually static, and but basically like that, but for battle rap kind of thing.
So, will there be battles in the show, or will it be kind of like the battles are the only thing not in the show, and you just hear about them, or?
So this was one of the things we were trying to decide. It was actually one of the bigger decisions that we were trying to make as well, was, whether we would have a full 5-minute battle or something like that, just to kind of show that there is real talent out there and blah, blah, blah. And then we thought that was actually too crowbar-y and a bit, I don't know, a bit vulture-y as well, culture vulture-y. So we kind of thought the best idea would be to have maybe like excerpts from a battle, or maybe even like in a montage type way, and just have a little, clips from it, and just show what a couple of things would have been said. But I mean, basically the story would be that basically bad bars happens as we did it, but we weren't aware it's bad bars. We thought it was good, and then we kind of get this whole pity effect from everyone but they think it's a joke, and they're also kind of pitying. So we get put up through ranks, and then it just like goes on to like we get invited onto TV shows, and we don't know we're being taken the piss out of the whole time. Right. So as long as we could get the idea that it was bad, then that would be the only thing that mattered, really.
And I mean, were there any sort of egregious cameos lined up?
Yeah, we were definitely thinking that Rowan would have an involvement in it, and Shotty, if we could. Also, we were going to write a film at one point called Style, which was Stephen and Kyle mixed into one name, and we were going to try and make some kind of like film about battle rap, like a comedy. This was before we got involved in it. We wanted Rowan to be in that as well. I think we both just fancy Rowan.
I you know what? The idea of a battle rap TV show written by Shorty and Marlo, and the fact that the scripts are done, like, it's so exciting, man. I really hope it does eventually get to screen.
Man, I would love it. Love it, honestly. I think we just need to keep pushing it a bit. We tried it with one production company, and we're just going to try and maybe have a look over it and change it about and do another one. But yeah, I would love it. I would adore it.
And after the Kid Twist, when you get back into the solo realm, were you aware that there was somewhat of a fan consensus that sort of through the 100 Bullets battle and then the Yunnan battle, I don't want to say you were falling off, but there was this, you weren't quite as what you were, or?
Yeah, so I thought with the Bullets battle, it was definitely one of those things where people were, I felt like disappointed isn't the right word, but they definitely knew that I wasn't winning battles at the moment, and that I wasn't. And to be honest, it was kind of one of those things where I was writing one round, being really, really happy with it, and then I was running out of steam and just thinking, I don't know what else to talk about. And with Bullets, who I had taken quite a few shots at, and we'd done, I did that whole thing. I don't know if you remember, or if you watched it, but in Bad Bards.
Yeah, I remember, yeah.
So 2, I had a massive, I'd shouted at him. But I mean, the battle was already planned by that point. And that was just to sort of build up a bit of hype. I wasn't just aimlessly shooting for him. But I like the idea of making a rivalry in, before a battle, but it just felt like he just bested me, and he was just a lot more polished and a lot more inventive, and he had. My second round was really bad, and my third round I stumbled through. First round I thought was good. I was happy with my first round, but yeah, I mean, I think it was just that. I think I had little snatches of okay moments throughout the rest of it, but he was just a lot more put together. I remember thinking I won on the day, but then after I was a bit more objective, I was like, no, I didn't really win that.
And is it difficult adapting to that kind of ministry stage where it's like suddenly 360?
I felt so much better in that. I love that, because I love the idea that the more reasons you have to be somewhere, the more comfortable I feel. So if you have a stage, an audience sort of facing you, then I feel like you're up there for them to impress them. But when they're around you, it feels like you've got more of a reason to be there, and you're kind of around. It almost feels like they're your mates, and so it feels more like justification to be there. So I felt more comfortable all the time. Any kind of pit scenario is always better than just having people on one side. So I was really happy with that, to be like elevated and being able to look at people like they were my mates.
Yeah, and the next battle we're going to get into is the Yunnan battle.
Does anyone remember when Gemini asked him if he hit his missus? And he went, I didn't beat her up. That's comforting.
Similar kind of idea, wasn't it?
Definitely similar story, yeah. And I mean, again, happy to say that I was definitely bested by him. I think that one's a bit closer. Like on the other two rounds, I wasn't as sort of rubbish, but there was the first round I was really happy with, and then the second round, and then the third round was just like kind of whatevery. But it was just a weird. It was kind of a weird phase where I just. I don't think I cared as much as I did before, and as much as I do now, truth be told. And that just kind of showed in the writing that if I had an idea, I was just going to go, yep, sure, I'll put that in, I'll keep it. Whereas now I'll be much more, can I get rid of that? Yeah. But I mean, those guys were just on the top form for those two battles, and I'm not saying that to say like, oh, any other day I would have beaten them. They were just really, really good in those battles, like specifically those battles, I think. And both of them had a bit of a transformation of style around the same time, which I didn't predict. And I'll be honest, I was really hoping that Yunnan was going to choke, because he had choked so many times before that. And so I was just thinking this will be a bit of an easy win because it's happened so many times. It's almost guaranteed. And it just wasn't the case. And he came out and he did a really, really impressive 3 rounds.
Yeah, he did, and especially considering that you played him so well in the interview prior as well, and seemed to really rile him up. That he does.
I was a very drunk, arrogant man that day. I don't know why. It's so unlike me, honestly. I hope people know that I'm not always a twat, but I was full of myself that day. I was just so drunk that I just God. I'm actually embarrassed by that. I know people say that. There was a few comments on there saying that I put him in his place. I didn't feel like it. I felt like I was just being a knob on stage.
Yeah, you're very dry in it. That could be taken slightly wrong way. I think actually the better Yunnan shuffle battle was the one you did before that, kind of off the cuff compliments battle outside Fiddlers.
Oh, the freestyle compliments one. Yeah, that was a weird one.
Our finger men. What do you mean if? It's not a matter of if, it's when. You're sick in the booth. Your testicles are huge.
Yeah, I mean, compliments have just become basically a homoerotic battle is what that is now, that was probably the most extreme example of that being done. We were just basically just saying we wanted to fuck each other, really. And me and Yunnan get along really well for the most part, and so I think that's why it kind of worked, that the chemistry between us on that one worked a bit better. Maybe it was because we were actually being nice to each other, which maybe we felt. Yeah,
that's true. Actually, you can see me front and center in that battle. I just came out of the Fiddlers and I was like, oh fuck, Shufflety and Yunnan are battling, like, and it's being filmed. It was a great revelation to come across, and it is fun. And Yunnan, I mean, what's your kind of answer to Yunnan saying that you're not a rapper, you're a multi-sayer?
I mean, he's right. I mean, he's absolutely right. I'm obsessed with multisyllabics, and I do not rap. I mean, if I'm rapping, if I'm writing rap, or if I'm doing things, things that I find interesting with rap, then it's really just a way of using comedy in a format that is able to utilize multisyllabics, which is all I care about, really, is those two things in terms of like what I'm doing is comedy and rhyming as well as I can. And a format to be able to do that is amazing. But he's absolutely right. I'm a multi-sayer, and I just try to make them funny, but I'm not a good rapper. On beat, I'm appalling, really bad. Theo's quite good on beat, but I certainly can't pull it off. And so no, he's absolutely right, and I think that's actually the most succinct way that angle has been done. You're not a rapper. To say you're not a rapper, you're not real. It's kind of a bit played out. But to say you're not a rapper, you're a guy who likes saying multisyllabics, he's pinned me down there, and that's that's very right.
Yeah, that is, and I think his first is probably the strongest round of his in the battle. It's probably, he's not to say that his second of it on good. Personally, I like old school Unan. Like I like unhinged 2011 Jefferson Price Unan, but I appreciate there's this new Unanimous kind of thing, and you got to roll with it. And to be fair, everyone was saying that he wouldn't win, and popular consensus is that he did beat you, so I guess good on him. No, he definitely did. And I agree. I really like the old school Unan as well. He was a real influence for me and Theo when we were getting started, I think, because it was that kind of multi-heavy thing that we come to like, and I like the new version of him as well, which I think isn't that different. It's just a bit more self-aware. No, yeah, definitely. But there's tons of funny lines in your second. You were kind of playing down your second there, but I mean, I wouldn't call it necessarily a concept round when you kind of don the glasses and get really swaggy.
Oh yeah, that was all right. That was weird. It was just used to use those multis, like the do-si-do and the broken toe and all those things.
Yeah, comatose post overdose.
Yeah, that was all right. That was all right. I went on the mother stuff quite a lot. Actually, I think I had one of my longer multi-strings in that round, which was the trying to remember it now. What was the
Toblerone?
No, it was before that. It was a really long multi. It was something like Christmas under the Christmas tree. Oh, okay, under the Christmas tree, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, which is okay to keep going as long as I did. I think I was quite happy with that, but it was the mum stuff again. It was a bit of a played out angle, and I didn't really do anything new with it. I think the dragon bit was okay. So, chasing the same dragons you rap about with your muggles and wizardry or something like that. But yeah, ultimately it was very average, I think.
Yeah, I quite liked in real life he shook because he can't actually summon shit from his demon book.
Yeah, that was all right. Magical demon book.
Yeah, his magical demon book. And then, Chris Lees has the much parodied line against Tony, drop tea on the floor like a clumsy housewife. And Unan has a stinker that kind of gets slept on. No one really pulls any, reaction to it. Taking tea out for cheap like a second-hand clothes store.
Oh, I tell you what, I had a couple of things in my third one that actually I thought really got slept on, which I was a bit surprised by. And I think I remember them now. I think it was something like, it was, flying off the handle like a don't disturb sign. I think was one of them. It was like, you get rowdy after a Cronenberg light and fly off the handle like a don't disturb sign. And I was quite happy with that because the image of a hotel always having those like don't disturb signs was something that was really familiar, and I thought everyone else would pick up on that, but obviously not. And then I was trying to do this thing where it was a 4-bar, but the second bar was a punch as well, and that was an example of that one. And then because I think the punchline to that was like they don't settle their disputes through spoken word fights or something. And then there was another one which again was another bit of wordplay which I was really happy with, which I can't remember. I'll tell you what it is afterwards, but if I remember. But it was another little wordplay bit which I was surprised didn't get picked up on.
Yeah, was it weird for you to kind of go from someone who'd started off fairly recently to now, a lot of the comments are saying like, oh, Shuffle, this is more in Sunburn 3 than Sunburn 2, but you are kind of almost a saviour in Don't Flop. You're definitely one of their bigger names. One of the guys definitely gets the views for them still. Like, do you feel like, you were talking about Greek myths earlier, do you feel like Atlas or not?
just carrying the whole league. No, absolutely not. I mean, like, I think, to use the Titanic lexicon, we are standing on the shoulders of giants, and the only reason it's there in the first place and that I can have the thing is because there's been so many amazing people before me who have done incredible stuff. And, elevated Dome Flock to the level where it is now. I think I've got lucky quite a few times. And I think the concept rounds, people are liking them at the moment. But the thing about that whole thing, Tom, as you'll know, is that, like, the battle rap fans are so fickle. And they like the concept rounds at the moment. And, I'll bleed them dry because I really enjoy writing them. But next week they'll hate them. And they'll on the whole, people will stop liking them, and then I'll have to do something different. And the thing is, there's no transition period. It won't be like one thing that, like, some people are getting bored of it. It'll be like the next one I put out, people will be like, this is shit, why is he still doing these? This is ridiculous, he has to change it up, he can't just keep doing the same thing. Even though the last one would have been, oh my god, I hope he does more of these, these are great, these are my favourite bits. That kind of thing. It's very immediate, and people will just instantly switch when they decide they don't like it. So Saviour is definitely not the word I'd use. It's just, momentary stabilizing device, maybe, is more appropriate.
But you are very popular views wise, aren't you? I'm just looking at, all your solo battles. Pretty much you've broken 50k in less than a year, which is a big feat.
Yeah, I suppose. I mean, like, the thing about the like, especially with the more recent ones, they work better as individual snaps. So that the concept rounds, like the mum calling me up, and the vegan one with thingy, and the coffee shop one with Heretic, and those kind of things, they work best not in the context of a battle, but when you see them as their own individual thing on, like, a Facebook video, which is why they on the Facebook videos they get like 200,000 views, but on the battles they get maybe 100 or 50 or something like that. So I think that's what I'm trying to do, really, is just my aim is to move battle rap outside of battle rap, really, and or as much as I can, to put it into different formats, because I think it's so underappreciated as an art form that it needs more to be put in different places. And so really and truly, that's kind of one of the reasons I'm doing the concept rounds, is because it draws in a bit of a different audience who are seeing something they would never expect is part of that world.
And it's a very personal performance, isn't it? It's almost like, I don't want to use this word, but you are almost doing a soliloquy, aren't you? Like, you're not really going at your opponent. I mean, let's say the Raptor round, for example. Obviously, it is about Raptor ostensively, but still, it's you and the phone. We're looking at you on the phone talking to someone else. And, like, I remember in the Soweto battle, he brings out a picture of you being on stage. You had done a lot of performances, drama, stuff like that?
God, yeah. So that was... that was from a few years ago. Before that, sorry, I think there's a version of Midsummer Night's Dream. Oh, I hated that version of it. It was good.
Who are you playing?
I was Lysander.
Oh, that's a big role.
Yeah, it was all right. Yeah, it was sort of like, very much a Village Fate kind of performance, if you know what I mean. And I don't really like 12th Night anyway.
Yeah,
one of my least favourite ones. But I do. I was into Shakespeare, really, and acting. I wanted to be an actor. I wanted to be a serious actor for a long time, which was just not going to happen. But yeah, the theatrics and drama of from previous days, I suppose, has bled into what I do now. Certainly with Theo as well. We're very choreographed and we do blocking and things like that. But with my own stuff, it's, I guess, the acting and like acting classes that I took before have just helped with maybe some kind of performance. But yeah, I mean, basically you're right. This is a soliloquy, and the difficulty of it is, like you say, making it about that person and insulting them without talking to them, like as if it just happens in real life because they're that much of a twat or whatever. Like with the Heretic thing, I was just taking that whole thing of when Rowan said I was battling Heretic, I was like, who? Which people do all the time, and drawing that out for a 2-minute or 3-minute round and just making one joke basically last the whole time. But yeah, it's about basically underplaying what they do to the point where you forget they're there. That's what I think is the ideal.
And we'll finish off then with the Heretic battle, which is an incredible performance. I was so happy when I was following the Twitter updates. Everyone was saying, "Oh my God, Shuffle is like unbelievable, like he's back," sort of thing. It wasn't that you'd gone away, like whatever. It's just the quality that you'd given us had kind of spoiled us to a certain extent, really, and we held you to a higher regard like this. And were you happy to take this battle? Because I guess a lot of people are like, "Oh shit, it's a good look for Heretic," kind of thing.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, like, it was one of those things where I felt he was kind of underappreciated. I think Heretic, he reminds me of Bamalam in a lot of ways, in that he's very, very good at winning a battle. Like, he doesn't do it in the most like florid or crazy, complicated, insane way, or do these special moves. He's just very good at telling you what he thinks of you, which is what Bamalam I always thought was very good at as well, which is why his battles with Bender and Bullets were brilliant. So I think I felt that from him, and he had just won Newcomer of the Year, and it was one of those things where I think we put a little bet on it as well, and just to make it more interesting for the audience, and because he was on a winning streak and I was kind of on a losing streak, it just made sense. I also just really believe in judged battles, and especially if you can put a bit of money on it to make it a bit more tense. Yeah. So we had a little wager, and it just felt like it was going to be a good battle. I knew that he was a good writer and they'd give me a run for my money, and so yeah, I was really happy to do it. And he was really good in it as well.
Yeah, seriously good.
Being a vegan is shit, mate. I know, because I was one for 9 months. But now I'm a vegetarian, I remember the pleasures of a light lunch. Eggs, cheese. Eggs, cheese, yes please. Fry-ups. Weatherspoons does one with a fake sausage, which is a nice touch. If you're going to be vegan, keep it to yourself like Fight Club. Don't bend over backwards like a high jump to make sure everyone knows you're a right cunt.
Fantastic battle. Obviously, kind of subverting expectations, kicking off Pretty Boy of Battle Rap versus Heretic. Which is a great. I love how you like Heretic. Your dreads are shit. Just the way you say that always makes me laugh. Like,
thank you, man. Again, it's just like, I can't believe that. No, I don't think anyone's ever said that to him. Like, Heretic and dreads are shit.
Yeah,
but I thought that was a really obvious one, actually, because it just rhymes with his name, and I just thought, well, how it's a gift.
And you say
it's a gift to get that.
Yeah, it is. That's like the wordplay thing, isn't it? It's just one of those things that almost seems like when Soul's listing off all the old battlers, like Sketch and Censor and all that sort of stuff. Yeah. It does blur. And you say being a vegan is shit, mate. You were one for 9 months. I mean, was that? I'm not a vegetarian, but I'm just kind of interested in the discipline there. Was that hard to adjust?
It was actually weirdly easy going, because I was meat eater, and then I went straight to veganism after watching a documentary on Netflix because I'm a fucking idiot. And I didn't make up my own mind. I let someone else make it for me and then obeyed them. But basically, I mean, it is obviously, I do think it's the right thing to do. I just didn't, I wasn't able to keep it up. But for a long time, it was very easy because of the novelty of it. It keeps you going. And so, and also if you tell a couple of people, then you feel obliged to keep it going. And so 9 months was fine. But then after a while, I think I started just slipping a bit when I went out. I'm actually trying to go vegan again for a month now, me and my girlfriend, because I've just put on so much weight that it's a necessity.
Right.
Because I keep eating cheese. Because I think the whole thing of like not being able to, even though it's been over like a year since I wasn't vegan, I'm still catching up on all that missed cheese and halloumi and stuff. So I'm just like trying to go, right, let's take it easy for a bit and maybe not have, cheese toasties every hour.
The mischief of missed cheese.
Yeah. That would be the name of my autobiography.
After the multisyllabic dictionary.
Yeah. Or as a follow up of volume 2. Adam, I ne'er knew thee, the mischief of missed cheese.
And this whole first round is, it's incredible. Like, it's so good. And one of the things that I love about it is, I think if you went to a lot of rappers in the league and said, okay, here's an idea for a round, you're facing Heretic, and you kind of want to piss him off by the food you're eating, you kind of got this sort of, that it's a metaphor for betraying him. The breadstick dunked being a knife in his back is just genius.
Oh, thank you, man. I think it was just like, because this is the funny thing is that this is based on truth, because Heretic was really helpful when I went vegan, and he was giving me a lot of advice for it. And then I remember this one time where it was after an event, and he walked past the McDonald's that I was in, and I was eating an ice cream, and he just stood outside and just stared at me for like about a minute, and then came in and then just ignored me. And it was so funny, man. It was just, he's got a really good sense of humor, and he just made it, there was no in between where he was working out the joke. He just knew what he was doing, and it just made it was so funny. And then from then on, every time we'd speak, I would be making little jokes about it, and he would be making them back. And so it was, there was a genuine interplay between us beforehand about the whole veganism thing. So it's so good to try and get it out in a real way.
And, this must have felt like it was sent from God, the whole Lisa Simpson veganism.
Oh my God, I was so happy with that. And I another behind the scenes moment, when I thought of that multi, I was in a train station and my ticket didn't work, and I put it in the barrier and it said seek assistance. And it was as I was looking at it. So it was like Lisa Simpson veganism, seek assistance. And I couldn't believe that happened. But yeah, I was really happy when I clocked those two, veganism and Lisa Simpson.
And it's that naturalness you need with the multis, where it feels like you're just saying something, wherever it's not, you're not just kind of out there. And the whole arrogant, prissy, backpacking through, just that whole the diction of that is fantastic.
Yeah, thank you, man. The weird thing about that is I actually got that wrong on the performance, and then people reacted, and then I did the right version after it. So there's two versions of it that happened in that battle. So I say it wrong. I say the wrong order, and then people react, and then I start again and do it right. So I was lucky that people reacted to that, but I was really panicking at that moment because I couldn't remember it. But yeah, the conversational element is one of the most important things, and that's why I respect Kruger so much in his writing, because it never sounds, or it very, very, very rarely sounds like something he wouldn't just say generally. He would be top 3 for multisyllabics in the world, I think. Just ability to write rhymes and come up with rhymes is, either he's very close to Blease, if not on a level, and his naturalism in rapping is unprecedented. No one else, apart from maybe Pat Stay, no one's that casual when they're talking about it and making things rhyme. He's unbelievable, and that's what I strive to do is make it as conversational as possible. And so thank you for that.
No, yeah, and as you were saying, when you were going up against Unan 100 Bullets, they were in rare form, and it's kind of the other side of the coin here. You are absolutely brilliant throughout this, really on fire, and Heretic still is really good. Like, there's nothing to take away from how great he is. The whole sort of like, you doing inanimate objects. Do you want to battle lunacy? I'm on a losing streak. No humans, please.
No humans, please. That's a great line.
Yeah, I love that line.
Please. Yeah, that's really funny.
And then he talks about DNA K-Shine being cancelled, which still gutting that battle didn't go down.
Oh, me too, mate. Me too. That was weirdly that was the first concept round that we would have done.
Oh no.
We had a concept round of it, but I mean, I'm still hoping that one day it will happen. It has to happen in the UK, really, but yeah, gutting. Anyway, sorry, carry on.
No, it does have to happen in the UK, but it's almost like, I don't mean to put a down on the situation, but it's almost like it kind of had to happen then as well. They're not quite what they are anymore. Like,
no, you're right. I mean, it was just at a point where they were at the height of it, and people were just, in America, they were 2-on-2s, and they had made it pop in again. Pop in. I just said pop in. Fucking hell. They made it popular. They made it popular again. Yeah, gutting.
Yeah,
really
very, very sad, but hopefully it will eventually go down. And I was there on the Saturday, so I do remember what Heretic was talking about. This was before it went on YouTube. When you battled that random person to kind of advertise.
Oh yeah.
How is the Shuffle Tea Company?
Yeah, do you know what? It's all right. I mean, it's kind of. I had a website for it, which is now gone because I was getting more stuff through Facebook, but yeah, it's actually doing really well. I'm properly self-employed now, and most of my work is actually not ghostwriting. It's just writing and filming like personalized battle rap videos for people, which is what I do most weeks really. And so if it's someone's birthday, they just contact me and they just go, my brother's 25 and he likes battle rap. here's loads of information about him, and I just write a sort of 2 or 3 minute long battle rap round against him, really.
That's incredible.
Oh, thank you, man. Yeah, no, it's going really well. It's going really well. Got a lot. There's always people interested in it, so yeah. And if anyone wants to, I won't plug it.
No, good for you, man. I'm really happy that that's working. That's so crazy.
Thank you, man. Yeah, no, I really didn't expect it to come out to anything. I started it in like January. When someone messaged me asking if I could do something for their wife who was in hospital, which obviously I didn't charge for because that would be mental. But I just did it, and I realised that it was something that people might actually want, you know, not just for ill loved ones, but for their mates and stuff as well. And so yeah, I just started doing it, and I didn't expect many to come through, but a lot did, and it's been really, really cool. And people always, you know, on the most part, quite happy with them, which is great, because it's just, and it keeps me sharp as well.
Yeah, I was going to say that. So, I mean, if people do, it's just best to add you on Facebook then.
Yeah, just message me on Facebook or email me on Woolard. Actually, don't worry, because it's going to take ages to spell it out and stuff. But yeah, Facebook me.
Well, it's Woolard, just with 2 O's and 2 L's, isn't it? How you'd think it'd be spelled.
Yeah. Wool lard, sheep fat. Some people say, because it's wool and lard. That's what I got in school, was sheep fat. Yeah. When that weird little subhuman form of a battle thing happened against that guy, who I chose him because it was his birthday, and he'd come from the Isle of Skye, and he had come to see me and Theo versus DNA and K Shine, and so I felt really bad for him, because I thought his girlfriend had bought him these tickets and, you know, got him over here, and I thought, well, how disappointing. So, and I was kind of tossing up the idea of whether I was going to do this whole thing against fake Shine, and in the end I went for it, and I just wrote as many multis on celebrities' names as I could think, and then just made that kind of the thing. But really, I think that performance against fake Shine, as much as it was hated, which I understand, it's the best quality multis I've ever put in any kind of performance, and I really believe that. Mo Farah, Bone Cancer, and Coat Hanger I was really happy with, and Dyson Airblade and Spiral Staircase I was really happy with. Yeah, I think that's the best concentration of multis that I've written.
I mean, there's some excellent ones in the second round against Heretic as well, the sort of concept round. You know, technically, like, almost astonishing at points. The whole dreads on his head to pretend he's an anarchist, definite pacifist, checking the back of his medicine cabinets.
Yeah, because they test it on rabbits, and he doesn't agree with that depth of analysis. That was weird, because again, I had no intention of making that all one rhyme scheme throughout that round, and it did start. This is the weird thing. Usually, as you'll know, and most people could probably assume, when you start with a rhyme scheme, it's usually based off the punchline that you want, and then you work backwards. But weirdly, the rhyme scheme started with when the next Heretic battle is. So Bebedibadabir was just like that, and I just went on from there, and I just realised that everything about him that people were taking the mick out of happened to rhyme with Heretic battle is, which is so strange and so uncommon, and it just didn't stop. And so I managed to do the whole thing, which kind of led it more than the concept, weirdly, because it was only going to be a 4-bar thing. The whole round about, you know, seeing that guy in the coffee shop was only going to be 4 bars. I was going to get to the Live Winter joke. I was going to call it a day. But because there was just so many things on it, I just felt, well, the rhyme is carrying this and the concept is carrying this, so I might as well do this whole approach of, you know, who am I battling? You know, who is this guy? And then just stretch it out.
And, you know, there's a bar in the third that is, you know, probably the highest honour, Tony D-esque bar. I can definitely imagine Tony D saying animated delivery postman Pat. Really? See,
that's interesting, because I remember this is another one, like, I don't know if you know the you mentioned it earlier, the Dirtbag Dan and Corset battle, the Dan and Dan bit, and even the Dan and Dan and Danagram bit. That was a joke. That was meant to be a joke, and it wasn't meant to be anything that gained reaction. And really and truly, the Postman Pat one was kind of like that as well. I thought maybe it would get a giggle, but I didn't expect it to get the reaction it did. I think it was more the delivery, weirdly. I think there's this whole, and I've spoken to Rowan about it, at length. There's this type of delivery that URL people do when they cut themselves off. And it's almost like you're not giving the audience a chance to react. And so then the audience really want to react. So animated delivery, Postman Pat, and that's what, and then you go into the next bit. And because you're interrupting yourself in that way, people want to give you more. And I think it's just because I accidentally kind of said animated delivery, Postman Pat, and then went into the next bit. And because it was kind of flippantly delivered, people reacted to it more and then wanted to act like it was maybe better than it was. That's what I kind of felt. I didn't really rate the bar that highly, but I'm honoured to think that you think it's on bar with something Tony D would say.
It's just a precision, I guess,
to try and do that.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Actually, Tony D saying Postman Pat, maybe not, but I can't really see. It's sort of.
Although maybe he's got a kid, isn't he? He watches a lot of kids shows, so probably does believe it.
That's true, yeah. And, at the end, obviously, you do come out with the win pretty unanimously. Dan Schrader gives it to you 3-0. Yorks with the 2-1. Innuendo loved it. Locksmith. Tony, as we say, loves the multi-king, I quote, of the second, which is just, did you feel like you were back on home territory, or did you feel like you kind of never left? It was just a few battles, whatever, anomalies?
No, to be honest, I think I felt comfortable with it because I really didn't write to win it, and I really and I said that to Heretic before the battle. I was just like, there was no tension because I really was not writing to win. I was just writing to do something a bit entertaining, and because I kind of remembered what I was in it for, which was to try and push the comedy, and so there was no pressure on me. So I think I just felt a bit more comfortable, and when I was writing it, I felt more at home, and so maybe there was an element of that which was sort of helping the way it turned out.
And in the post-battle interview that gives, which is a funny interview, not necessarily that helpful in terms of information. He's just kind of ragging on you both. He quick fires to Heretic to do a multi on Identify, which that's something that you feel you could you just multi of anything people give you now?
Not really. To be honest, I'm much better when I sort of sit down and think about it at length. But I mean, we could give it a go if you want to.
Battle rap resume.
That is a difficult one.
Sorry, putting you really on the spot.
I asked for it. All right, give me another one. Give me a different one. You can cut that out.
I'm looking at my bottle of Tesco water, and it's Ashbeck.
Do you know what's annoying is every time I do this, I try to remember ones I've already got rather than so Black Death, the Black Death, Blank Check, Macbeth, Flat Chest, Andrex, Crash Test, and Aztec.
Yeah, that was that. Yeah, bravo.
Or Andrex.
Yeah, I like Black Death, Macbeth. I don't think the Black Death's nice in Macbeth, but I mean, whatever.
Should be.
Yeah, if it's not. But I guess we'll wrap up then, Shuffle, with just a few quick fire questions. Do. And the first one being, do you have a favourite Don't Flop battle?
Favourite Don't Flop battle? That is tough.
Right.
I think it will have Kruger in it.
Yeah.
Or it will have Soul in it. It's either going to be Soul versus Most Prob, or Kruger versus any Kruger battle, but really Kruger versus Conceited or Enlish.
Yes, the Conceited performance is wow.
Yeah. It is amazing.
Yeah,
it is really, really impressive. Also, they're 2-on-2. Rowan and Kruger's 2-on-2 against Bender and Pesci is one of my favourites as well.
Yeah, that's fantastic as well. Yeah, good choices. URL? Do you watch URL?
I used to watch a bit of it when I was in my little serious phase. I loved Bill Collector.
Yeah.
I thought he was really funny. just really funny and really animated. Like Postman Pat. No, and what else was there? I really liked actually Head Eyes vs Tech 9. I thought that was a great one. And there was one that I really liked, which was Hitman What was the really obvious one? What was the
Hitman versus
pick up the
Ava.
same bullets that came out of him?
That's Hitman John, that one.
That was great.
Yeah,
that was great. If that's that one, I remember really enjoying that one. But I'm not much of a URL man. I watch it more for the performance, but I never remember the names, and I never really get involved with the politics or anything behind it.
No worries. That sort of option I always ask with trepidation because some people aren't really familiar with it. King of the Dot. Do you ever King of the Dot Battle Shuffle?
I loved Bender versus Immaculate. That was an incredible battle. Also, Bender's performance against Sketch Menace was unbelievable. Even though I know there was like the choke, but that was amazing. And that whole battle from Sketch Menace was really impressive as well.
Yeah.
But I'm trying to think of the one that I've watched most often. What we're talking about is Pat Stay versus Head Ice.
Right. Yeah, that gets picked a lot.
That's an amazing battle.
Yeah.
That's incredible. His whole second round is a great concept round about him getting picked up or just squealing, doing that whole like snitching angle and just doing it in such an amazing way was fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
One of the best things I've ever seen.
And final two questions, non-battle rap related. The first one being your favourite band, musical artist or band that is in no way hip-hop related?
That's a toss-up between... It's going to be another three. I've got three again I have to do, which is between the White Stripes, the Smiths, and probably Radiohead or Keaton Henson if he counts. I mean, he's not a band, but he's a
who's that?
He's a solo artist.
Not heard of him.
Keaton Henson is amazing. I like depressing music. Basically, I like any music that is really sad. Apart from the White Stripes, which is like the one exception, and some of the Happy Beatles ones. But Keaton Henson is really, really just about amazing heartbreak and just really honest and true music. And I don't mean true music as in like now that's what I call music.
Yes.
I mean true as in like honest and open and heart on his sleeve. Just turns of phrases that you don't hear that often that are just so beautiful and romantic. I was introduced to him by Jamie Blease as well. Again,
lovely.
The Brighton guy.
Yeah, I'm just on his Wikipedia now. Keaton Henson is an English folk rock musician, visual artist, and poet from London. He suffers from anxiety and, as a result, rarely plays concerts.
Yeah, he's amazing, and also he's got a lot of good multis on his name, which is Keaton Henson and Deep Depression.
Yeah,
which he suffers with, and also Lethal Weapon and Lee from Tekken.
Lee from Tekken. I mean, I don't know if you're aware. I just saw this on his channel, on his page. He's actually playing in London this Friday. So
fucking hell, really? Yeah. Oh, that's annoying. That's when I'm in Denmark.
Oh no. Yeah, he's playing the Palladium. So well, you would have been at a Don't Flop pre-party shuffle, but yeah.
Yeah.
So finally, I think I might know the answer to this. What is your favourite film?
I think it's American Beauty still. Okay. I mean, it may have changed. I
thought you were going to say The Room is all.
Oh, The Room. Yeah, that is incredible. I've probably seen that at the cinema more times than any other film I've seen.
Right.
Yeah, The Room isn't... Yeah, probably is The Room. That is the funniest film I've ever seen. Definitely check that out. Anyone who's listening to this, that is hilarious. But yeah, either The Room or American Beauty.
Right, no.
Which are not the two most often paired, I don't think. Again, I don't know why I'm doing this, but American Beauty, Blease had a couple of good multis on that. I'm going to do this for as many things as I can. American Beauty, The Legend of Bruce Lee, and The Taking of Pelham 1, 2, 3. He came up with those, and they're all films. Because he's the best.
That's beautiful, Jamie. That's so good.
Yeah, good job, mate.
But Shuffle, thank you so much, man. I mean, how do people find you? Social media, the company, that sort of stuff.
Yeah, just Shuffle_T, I think, on Twitter. Get at me on that. Instagram, I'm not much of a big user, but go on. Certainly, Facebook is probably where I do most of my chatting and stupid statuses and stuff like that. So yeah, Adam Woolard on that, or follow Woolard and Marlo as well, which is
of course,
his sketches and stuff like that, and also The Hook, which is the company I work for where we make sketches.
Yeah, awesome, man, awesome. Thank you so much again. This has been great.
No, thank you. Sorry it went on for so long. I wanted to. Thank you so much, man. Cheers for having me on it.